Hi, this is Ferre with TaxSaleSupport.com. Once again, I'm here with Swenson doing a Deal of the Week video for April here of 2020.
Yeah, and today's Deal of the Week video, we're going to be talking about California tax deeds and the Riverside tax sale.
Yeah, now California is a tax deed state, which means that the state sets a redemption period. Basically, the property owners have to pay off their taxes, and if they go past that, the county can foreclose and then sell the property at auction, and that's a period of 5 years in California.
Yeah, exactly. So once that happens, the county will go ahead and foreclose on the property, offer it up at a tax deed auction to be purchased by investors starting at the delinquent taxes, penalties, and fees. Now, in California, they hold both live and online auctions.
Yeah, but they don't sell over-the-counter properties. They simply hold subsequent sales.
Yeah, now, this sale we're going to be talking about is mentioned like Riverside County, starting on April 30th.
Yeah, so we've got a few weeks here before it begins, but it's being held through Bid for Assets as an online auction, so it'll be an easy one it'll be an easy one to get ready for.
Yeah, not only that, but there's over 700 properties for sale on the list. So we are talking about a massive sale with a huge amount of opportunity.
Yeah. So what we want to do is go and take a look at some of these properties and some of these opportunities just to show you them live, because we think that's probably faster and more efficient.
Yeah, exactly. It'll give us a chance to kind of go through the process that we go through to research properties and to kind of go through and review a list.
Yeah, now the first thing that we'll notice here is that in fact, let me enlarge this here a little bit just so you can see this, but this is just the Excel list version of it, and there are a lot of properties that are on this list. I mean, it is, I think, what did we say, there's 800?
Yeah, over 750, something like that. So it's a massive list, and one of the reasons me and Shade love to grab a list, especially on a list with this many properties, is that it's going to give us a chance to kind of narrow down the list to look at properties that we're going to be most interested in.
Yeah, and so that's actually one of the ways that we will try to do it, because sometimes trying to look at the properties on the online auction list, it may not give you all of the relevant information, or information may be more time consuming to try to look at properties one by one that way.
Well, and especially with a list like this of over 700 properties, the Bid for Assets system, they have the list in batches, and we'll look at it here in a minute. But as we go through those batches, it takes a lot of time to try to look up each one of those properties and see what it is, to see if it's even something we want to research. So when we're able to look at the online list, the PDF or Excel list like this, we can look and see, what the land value is versus the improvement value, and from there we can see, which properties do have improvements and which ones are just land.
Yeah, which is a really good way for us to separate, so here we've got the improvement column here, we've got the land value column here of total assessment, and we've got, property addresses here, and then some of the information we can use to identify the property is located right here. And because it's an Excel file, we can modify it easy, and so I just added another column on here so that I could highlight some of the properties lower down, as we were looking at some of the different ones before.
Yeah, well, and you can also see the minimum bid as well. And so one thing we may do with some of our list is if we want to kind of narrow it down, is we'll delete things like where it says auction ends April 5th. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't need that, and so we could go ahead and erase that. Or we could, if we didn't want to erase the legal description, we could kind of scroll it over. And so we try to kind of use the list and break up list down using what we call the quick glance method to try to narrow down the list a bit.
Yeah, and so, we might erase some of these things here, to make it a little bit easier to read at a quick glance. But this allows us to go through it more quickly. In fact, here, let me shorten this up here just a little bit. And we can use it to identify a property, or to mark different properties that we're interested in that we'll then go to the online list to look at to see more details on.
Yeah. So if we just wanted to look at structured properties, we because many of these have the property address, we can see which properties have, improvement value, and then from there, look up the address or look up some of the more information on the property along with any of the county record information.
Yeah. So, for instance, if it were homes or something like that, structures that we were looking at, we could actually start looking at the property, starting it at basically this seventh item down or something. We can see that all of these or many of these have improvements included.
Yeah. So I mean, we to look at that, we could, if we wanted to, just quickly pull up any of those properties using Google Earth just to see if it's something that we're more interested in, and then from there we can look into the county records, because some of these county records in California are a little bit more time. There's more steps involved in some of them, and so to get kind of a quick view of what this property is. Is it something I'm going to be more interested in? And then from there, doing the additional due diligence.
Yeah, so we can get, a view here, at least from the outside streets. I don't know if we can get a view, of the property from the inside here. Seeing how I think it's one of these or the other.
Yeah, I think it's going to throw you on the other side of it, so you just see the back side of it.
But we can at least see and have an idea here of what it is. We don't have to really go that far into depth. And we could actually go down there and look at this next one. The next one, has a little bit smaller opening bid. It looks like it's located in Corona, we can see. And there we go. Let me grab this.
As we're going through this, we can also look at some of these properties, their Zillow value, to see, what it looks like as well, and kind of compare that. And as we go down, we can highlight any of the properties that we're interested in, that we're going to go back and do more of county due diligence, do some more, market research, different things like that on the properties that we're going to bid. We're just trying to go through and see which properties look like they could be an interest to us.
Yeah, in fact, so we might go like this. And the reason why we'll look at the value of the properties is because sometimes, it makes for far more profitable potential deals.
Yeah.
So we can see that this property here is estimated value of $622. Despite on here, having a total estimated value of, look at that, it's actually not too wrong. It's at $591.
Yeah, so pretty close.
Yeah.
In fact, when looking through here, some of them were about, kind of around that price. A little bit, the market value is a little higher. It's pretty close, but the opening bids are pretty fair based on the assessed values.
Yeah, that is something that we found pretty consistently, was that the opening bid amounts, were really not bad at all. They were consistently about 10%. And here's kind of what we mean here by this. So we're looking at some of these different properties here. I went down to the bottom of the list and was looking at it, working way kind of opposite. And we can see these all have opening bids of 40, 30, 50,000. This one even has an opening bid of 132,000. If we were to look at,
one thing as well is if you are only wanting to invest into land, let's say, then you could just go ahead and erase any of the structure property. So you just eliminate so that the only thing that's left is the land, or vice versa if you want to just buy structures.
Yeah, it makes it easy just to kind of ignore, all the rest. But we can see that this property right here that starts at $120,000 is actually, it's a 6-bedroom, 5-bath, nearly 4,700 square foot home that's valued at about 1.26 million, and we've even actually got interior images of it and everything.
Yeah, it looks like it's in a big yard. I mean, that's really almost kind of an estate, than a home. You've got the big pool and huge property. So that is really nice, especially if you're looking at $20,000 opening bid.
Yeah.
And that's around 10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah. And so again, a pretty impressive one. Here's another one, that's similar to that. Out here in Temecula, this one has $150,000 opening bid amount, and let's pull it up here. And we can see it's another one that's kind of almost a ranch, or at least a big piece of, not a ranch, it's just a nice piece of land.
Yeah.
You can see here, but you can see it's fenced. And let's pull it up here. And here we can see, the same thing. It's valued almost the same as with the other one. This one's at 1.19 million that is valued at, but it's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath at about 3,800 square feet there in Temecula. That also has interior images, at least a few of them. And beautiful pool area and everything like that.
Yeah, incredible home.
Yeah, and what's incredible about this auction is there are so many amazing properties on it.
Oh yeah. I mean, 732 properties on the list, and that's part of the reason why you've got to approach this sale and really kind of, use the quick glance approach that we talk about in some of our trainings to break this down, because 732 properties, if you're just going to try to look through each one of them, you're going to be spending all of your time between now and the auction trying to do research on every single one of them. So you've got to break it down into what type of property you want.
Yeah, you could waste your time on a whole bunch of properties that end up redeeming last minute.
Yeah.
And so, we want to try to limit some of the real, deep research you try to do in these properties maybe to the last week before the auction.
Yeah, in fact, that's kind of what we'll do is we'll go through and make quick notes, just kind of like we're doing now on some of these properties, to see if there's something we're going to be interested in. And then as this auction comes closer, that's where we're going to actually do the county research, see if we can research for any liens or anything like that could stick after the foreclosure, check the market value, on-site evaluations, all of those due diligence things. We're going to wait until as close to the auction date as we possibly can, but we want to, especially on a list like this, we want to start kind of breaking it down a little bit to see properties that we're going to be interested in.
Yeah, something else that they have here, we noticed there is a golf course.
Man, at least that's what it appears to be.
Yeah. Let's take
worth the $4 million.
Yeah, so it's at $500,000 opening bid amount. There, the improvements are listed as $1 million. $1,080,000 in improvements, and land value of $2.688 million for a total assessed value of $3.7. And let's take a look at that. It's in Desert Hot Springs. And here we go. So, when we were first looking at the properties, trying to figure out exactly, what it is here, but then we realized that, this is the, basically your clubhouse area here, and this property includes, in fact, I think when I pulled it up there, it includes many acres. You can see that maybe in the...
Yeah, I think in the legal description it said there was 177 acres.
Yeah, 177 acres. Yeah, that's right. And so, we need to pull up the rest of it here, but it looks like it may be, this.
It's
area.
probably even that whole block, even more than the,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, at least.
And you can see here that it just basically, needs to be more watered here, but who knows what the value of that could potentially be. They're valuing it at 3.8. Maybe that's what it's worth.
Yeah, if you're wealthy enough, you could have your own private course.
Yeah.
In Desert Hot Springs.
Yeah, that would be quite nice there. Anyway, starting out at $500,000, we'll see if if it ends up going to auction, or not, because it certainly has a lot of value. But it doesn't look like anybody's taking care of the grass.
Yeah, well, and we're just kind of going through and looking at the structured properties right now. But there could be pieces of land here that have incredible value. That,
in fact, the land all looks really attractive.
Yeah, that have great values that may not have the same type of competition as some of these really nice custom homes, where you could instead, you could pick it up for a lot less of a percentage than maybe some of these others that may have a little bit more competition because they are a $1.3 million home or something.
Yeah, like I was looking, and some of this property, pieces of land, they're nice big pieces of land, so they're 10 acres, 15 acres, and we can see 5 acres here, at 64, but here 10 acres starting at 11,000. Here's 6.6 acres. We've got 10 acres, 20 acres there. Then some, we've got some houses, actually, a whole bunch of improved properties. And we've got some vacant lots, some of them here and there. There's still vacant lots that are on this that I think you could get a really good deal on those, because there's enough property here that it's going to be tough for people to I think it's going to be hard for there to be so many online bidders that they're going to take everything.
Yeah, well, you can see there's a ton of nice land in there. 45 acres, not 39 acres, 41 acres. just in looking at the legal description and that's one thing the legal description can do is some of it's not going to, some of it's kind of gibberish, but there will be some information within there that can help us, help tell us a little bit more about the property.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we can see here that one's 11 acres there.
There's 1.0 acres, down there below, so $4,000. Well, that might be a great, 1 acre building lot where we could look into it a little more, and see what the details are.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, that is a good clue. But yeah, that sale is really a pretty amazing sale that we have here that is coming up, and that's again taking place on April 30th of this year. So we've got about 3 weeks until that happens, and maybe a little bit more, and then that sale will be here. But you'd want to start, prevent or stop. Don't do a lot of research up until maybe that last week before the auction.
Yeah, the one thing you will want to do beforehand, though, is get registered. So, look into the sale. If it's something you're interested in, go ahead and get registered because that's something that they're going to have you, they're going to want you to do, see what the deposits are so that you're ready to go so that when it is time to bid, when it is time to do the research, you've got all of those things done. The last thing you want to do is plan on attending the sale and then find out that you had to have the deposit in or the registration done, earlier.
Yeah. This could be one of the best sales we see in California all year.
Well, with everyone freaked out right now because of the coronavirus and all of that, and this really could be a good opportunity with this many properties available, this largest sale at this particular time. I mean, we're pretty excited. There could be some really good deals had at this auction.
Yeah. Yeah, if you would like more training information or you're looking for tax sale lists or more help, you should check out our membership program on taxsalesupport.com, which you can join. Of course, you can also cancel anytime, and there's a money-back guarantee on it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to give you access to all of our list, all of the online auctions that are taking place. You're going to be able to see when they're taking place, go into the auction calendar. Go into the online auction tab. Not only that, but we have all of our over-the-counter list, and so there's still huge opportunity going on, taking place right now for over-the-counter investing, and so it really is the best value, best bang for your buck, I guess. Yeah,
hands down, you should do this before you're spending money on anything else. So anyhow, thank you so much for your time. Be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up if you like this video.
Yeah, appreciate it.